Congratulations, Chairshot Reality, on your episode 350. What a milestone. Man, how I miss being a part of that team. We had so much fun together. I just want to say that you guys really helped me gain my start in TV news. I'm now an anchor and a reporter in my hometown viewing area of Youngstown, Ohio. I work for 21 WFMJ, the NBC affiliate. In fact, I'm watching one of the newscasts from just a couple of days ago right there. There I am. You can see reporting live in the studio. So, Chairshot Reality, I don't know where I would be without you guys today. Hey, everyone, I love hearing from you still on Twitter, @Caroline on TV. CSR, congratulations on such a milestone.
We are wrapping up episode 350 this weekend, and how more fitting to wrap it up than a good old-fashioned CSR sparring session between myself and Fort Lauderdale soon-to-be mayor, Mr. Josh Eisenberg. Josh, how are you?
LeBar, I am wonderful. Episode 350. I have absolutely no idea how I made it this far with you. Well, actually, I do. I'm pretty much a raging alcoholic. But good to see you again.
And also, you continue to be with me because it's been 250 episodes that you've been sulking and drinking over the fact that you lost to me at the Tough Enough CSR 100.
I never lose. I never lose to you. In a physical competition, your American-made nutrition is getting to your head, big guy. Come on, let's be realistic here.
I'm bulging out of the suit. All right, Josh, let's talk about one guy you'll never see in a suit, but when you do, he's probably bulging out of it. Brock Lesnar. And Brock Lesnar once again got his Punk card pulled by the man known as Bill Goldberg at Royal Rumble. First off, what was your reaction to that?
I was very surprised. I think whenever they built the storyline at Survivor Series that you were going to have Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg, I expected a little more interaction in the Royal Rumble, and then I actually expected somebody like The Undertaker or somebody else eliminating one of them instead of one of each other eliminating. But here's my problem with it, is this is now the third time that Brock Lesnar has been bested by Goldberg, and it's making him look weaker and weaker each time. You saw on Monday, Justin, it was a very vulnerable and sulking Brock Lesnar. I'm usually one of the guys that say you need to continue to develop his character, but when a character has been so good and so powerful as Brock Lesnar, they don't need to tweak it as a vulnerable guy with his advocate complaining and sulking in their loss. It doesn't make me think Bill Goldberg is much stronger. It just makes me think Brock Lesnar is much weaker than we portrayed him to be.
Well, you see, so it's not working for you because you're saying it doesn't make Goldberg look any stronger, it makes Lesnar look weaker. But the more I watch this unfold, it's not my favorite thing, but at the same time, you got to admire that they're going with a formula that they've seen is popular right now and works, and it's the MMA formula.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about, Jimmy Corderas and I talked about a little bit on my Wrestling Reality podcast. It's the MMA formula. It is, when we see somebody lose, when we see somebody who was once on top of the mountain drastically lose, we then have an interest to see, okay, how are they going to bounce back? And that's kind of what it is. I mean, right now, that's what we're all wondering. Is Brock Lesnar going to get punked on the WrestleMania stage by Goldberg? Is he going to do it back to Goldberg? I mean, so to a point, Goldberg is the only guy that really could do this. We talked about it after Survivor Series. Nobody else on the WWE roster could have done that to Brock Lesnar in a minute 26 because everybody else has had too many weaknesses and flaws shown. But Goldberg has been away for 10 years, and he is the man Goldberg that had the crazy undefeated streak. So I think this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do it, and they're doing it. And I got to say, I am intrigued. Next point, though.
Well, let me ask you this, though. You're comparing it to MMA and UFC. Does anybody want to see Ronda Rousey come back after being dominated twice? No. Nobody wants to see Rousey in the UFC ring. They want to see her in the WWE ring.
Well, true. But again,
and that's what's happening with Brock Lesnar. But that's what's happening with Lesnar, though, is you're seeing him continuously lose to a guy. And this isn't the time where it's the 80s and 90s and you don't really know what's going on. It's how can we be led to believe that this dominant guy who is considerably bigger, considerably stronger, younger, faster is still getting the shaft against a guy like Bill Goldberg? It's not saying that Bill Goldberg doesn't look like he could fight somebody, and it's not always a size versus size thing. But I think right now when you see Goldberg and Lesnar, I don't know that this match at WrestleMania is going to really do anything for me. The only thing that I really think it's going to do is, can they last more than 5 or 6 minutes? And we don't know if Goldberg can last more than 2.
Well, let me ask you this. Since you're so down on this match, but the match is going to happen one way or the other, barring catastrophic injury, does this match need the Universal title on the line? Because that is actually looking more and more possible if we really start mapping scenarios out here.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not completely against seeing them at WrestleMania. It's still an attraction, still a draw. I just don't like how they've been booking it up until WrestleMania. For the Universal Championship, I mean, if you have Paul Heyman do what Paul Heyman does, and if you have Brock Lesnar actually get an upper hand heading into WrestleMania, I don't necessarily think Universal Championship is going to make this match 10 times better or 15 times better. I just don't think the importance of the championship should be around either of these guys' waists heading into WrestleMania. If anything, I could easily see them doing a Goldberg win at Fastlane, and then considering he's in the match at Fastlane, and then Goldberg losing to Brock Lesnar. I think that's what everybody's kind of mapping out right now. But there's been a lot of times where we've seen champions switch in March, in main eventers, and number one contenders. I mean, hell, this time a couple of years ago, we had no idea Daniel Bryan was going to be the world champion after WrestleMania 30. We thought it was going to be Batista and Randy Orton and maybe Triple H shoved down our throats again. So I don't know if WWE really knows that they want to put Goldberg versus Lesnar for the title, especially considering that's the time when smart fans are going to rebel against what they don't like.
I've kept saying I wanted to see Kevin Owens go to Mania as the Universal Champion, and I wanted to see him and Chris Jericho. I picked Owens to retain at Rumble. He did. I picked Jericho to win at Rumble. Unfortunately, did not happen.
Me too.
Yeah, as you did. But the closer we get, I kind of feel like the title is going to be on the line with Goldberg and Lesnar, and I can just put myself in Vince's mind, as scary as that might be, that he wants to have that press conference. He wants to have that imagery of these two, mainstream names, Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, with the title strap in between. So we'll have to see how this maps out. I'll be interested to see what Goldberg has to say and how this the weeks keep unfolding. Let's go to another WrestleMania and part-time attraction, and that being the Undertaker. A lot of people saying he didn't look great at the Rumble. I didn't really notice it in person, but then if you go back and watch, I guess you can watch that he is moving, gingerly in some regards. What are you forecasting for WrestleMania for the dead man?
I think the man with Ward in his name, Justin. No, there's no chance that Wardlow can sign a contract right now and you take him down the aisle.
Anything is possible when it's involving a Justin LaBar property.
That is true. You party with Kevin Nash, and then he interfered in a championship match the next night. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and say that I really do think The Undertaker and Roman Reigns is the way to go here. With Roman Reigns, this could be the beginning of a really good heel turn for him. Now, I understand that people always say, well, Roman Reigns doesn't need this, doesn't need that. He's always going to be the John Cena-esque type character. But Roman Reigns isn't selling the merch that John Cena has ever sold his entire life. I don't like any Roman Reigns merchandise, his gear, so he's not as marketable as John Cena has been in the past or even is now. So I wouldn't think that WWE, with the amount of talent they have on Raw, that they would not consider Roman Reigns going in as a full-fledged heel against The Undertaker, taking shots at The Undertaker of how old he is, how Roman Reigns could be the guy right now. If it's not that match, I don't know what else you do with The Undertaker if you're not going to put him up with John Cena. I mean, I still would love to see a WrestleMania if they're going to go Goldberg and Lesnar with John Cena and The Undertaker, Owens and Jericho, and then AJ Styles as champion, but that's probably not going to happen. So at the end of the day, you're going to see the Roman Reigns and The Undertaker. People are going to want to cheer for The Undertaker. They always do. So why have a counterproductive process and think, you know what, let's throw Reigns in there, see what happens. I actually still don't think Reigns would win that match.
It's going to be hard to – I mean, they're almost going to have to commit to Reigns being booked on the heel side of the fence and get a little maybe disrespectful to The Undertaker and such. You're right. And Undertaker's going to have to call upon that he's faced many in Roman Reigns' family and the generations before him, because it is going to be a tough sell to the crowd any which way. There are people that love Roman Reigns, the women, the children, but the more vocal portion, they're going to certainly hate on him if he's pitted against The Undertaker. Something I want to put out there, though, I wonder, now that the WrestleMania streak's done and now we're hearing about all this talk about how Taker's health and this. What if the Undertaker, first time ever at Mania, had a triple threat and he doesn't have to get pinned? You got Braun Strowman out there. You got Braun Strowman hanging around. I don't know.
I absolutely think that's a great idea because it protects what the Undertaker can't do anymore and spotlights some of the younger guys. I said that before. It wasn't Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns. I think it was maybe like AJ Styles, Undertaker, and Cena. Giving two WWE guys, basically face two WWE legends, staples, against the guy that always wanted to go into WWE but never did and thinks he's better than everybody. But now, looking at where the pieces have fallen, I would love an Undertaker feud, and I'll give you a few reasons why. One, like I said, it protects his weaknesses in the ring, and they're not going to have to rely on him carrying a 15, 20-minute match. And two, if he's not there every single week, you have two other guys putting a storyline together, and The Undertaker doesn't need to do much to sell a pay-per-view, to sell a WrestleMania and pay-per-view match. I would be up for that. I really just don't think that's feasible or possible for WWE to pull off. I don't, for whatever reason, they don't want The Undertaker in a triple threat match, and I don't understand.
No, I agree. I doubt it's going to happen, but it is an interesting scenario. I do think now that with New Orleans next year, I think Taker's got to work New Orleans next year. That's where he lost the streak. I think I've been wanting to see Cena versus Taker, as we keep saying. I think that's the perfect retirement versus retirement match.
But can he?
Yeah, I hope. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could see John Cena, as I already said it this weekend. I could see John Cena next year saying to him, "Dead man, you lost your streak in New Orleans. Well, now you're going to end your career." But that's a year away. What do we know? We got maybe another 50-something episodes till we get to that point. Josh Eisenberg 4 on Twitter, at Justin Labari. Thank you for joining us. 350 episodes. Hey, we're going to keep on trucking. 351 will be next weekend. We'll see you then.